I started playing Gamble with Your Friends last month, and it's one of the strangest games I've played in a really long time. It is broken in several ways, moronic in many others, but also really funny. The whole premise of the game is that you and your friends must make enough money at the casino in 5 minutes on a given day to pay off the loan shark until you either A, go bankrupt and die in a hole, or B, make enough money to confront the final boss of the game. For a brief review, I think the game is fine for what it is, but it doesn't do anything wholly original that other games haven't tackled. A game where every day you must meet a quota in order to progress? Lethal Company. Explorable hub area where you can customize your character, do an obstacle course, and play basketball and chess? All of that is in Peak. Plinko, Billionaire, Slots, Clover Pit, Blackjack, Super Blackjack, Battle 2 Turbo Edition, The Card Warriors. Nearly every aspect of this game is taken from another game, and I'm not necessarily saying that these games have perfected their craft or that you can't tackle these mechanics in a game ever again. What I'm saying is that if you have any interest in Gamble with Your Friends, then there's already a high chance that you've played one of or more of these games, so it's really hard to justify purchasing this game given its $10 price tag. I think it's fun for what it is, and I'm glad that it's successful, but I think that these sales more so demonstrate the amount of people that have played a 3 to 4 hour session with their friends and more than likely won't play it again. Now, if you do decide to purchase this game and play it with your friends, then you need to know that the challenge of this game comes from how you make your money from various casino games. This is a primary difference from other modern co-op games. Where other games focus primarily on skill and information, usually through item usage, knowledge of monster behavior, or general strategies, with Gwyff specific I'm sorry, I can't call it that. With Gamble specifically, while you can deploy these strategies, 90% of your success is going to boil down to pure chance. Or does it? And then it says in brackets, Vsauce music. What if I told you there was a way you could break this game by using very simple exploits? You'd believe me. Hopefully, because that's what this video is about. Now, I should put a disclaimer here. With what I'm about to tell you, if you are playing with your friends, don't do this. Unless you have express permission from your friends to exploit the game, don't be the guy to pull this shit out of nowhere. Also, I should note that if you do not intend to use any of the knowledge that I give in this video, then please don't click off. Knowing what I'm about to tell you doesn't necessarily ruin the game if you plan to play normally, and the last video didn't do too well and I want the views. Please stay. So my resolution, this is just what my monitor is at, but if I change it, it doesn't change it doesn't change the resolution, it just makes it darker. Like you can see.
What the fuck is with this game?
Breaking this game is actually incredibly simple, and all you have to do to know how to break it is to look at this number right at the bottom of the screen. To a regular person, this is just a random string of numbers, but if you know anything about video games, you will likely recognize this as a seed. Much like many other run-based games. Yeah, sure, that counts. Gamble uses seed generation for its generation. If you don't know what a seed is, you can think of it as a randomized save state that the game itself accesses. Professional game developers, please do not fact check me. Some games give you the option of copying and pasting a seed in order to get a certain generation. This is how Minecraft gets its biome and terrain generation, how Streets of Rage gets its floor missions, NPCs, and building placement, and Balatro gets its shops, RNG, and deck order. Seed generation is pretty ubiquitous across other co-op games like Lethal Company and Peak. It's essentially a way of keeping the games fresh and encourages you to keep coming back and experience a new challenge, albeit with the same gameplay mechanics. But an important thing to note is that in most of these games, there are safeguards in place to prevent you from abusing exploits with seeds. In Balatro's case, the game quick saves pretty much any time you do anything. This way you can't pre-buy a shop, actively throw a boss blind to know what cards you can draw, or with a game like Peak, you can't save your progress, so if you quit out of a run, then that means you need to start over. Gamble uses seeds for shop generation and game placement, but most importantly, game results. Aside from games like Craps or Plinko that are mostly based around physics, nearly every result in this game is predetermined. This is an important detail to note because if you are able to go into the casino and already know the correct answers, then all of that money will come flowing in. But surely there's no way of you being able to know exactly what the results of a given day are going to be unless you were to theoretically spin the roulette wheel a few times, mark down the results on the note on your phone, reload the save, come back with the most optimized challenge and items, rebet at the same table while maxing out all of the different bets, spin, and make several $1,000s more than was ever intended. Surely that's not ever going to happen, given the fact that there are safeguards in place to prevent that from ever happening, right? Right? No, fucking course there aren't. Okay, so you can see I don't own it right now. Can't equip it. buy this. Come back and I can equip it. So now my character is wearing it. And I've also got bandana 6. I'll just leave it on that page so I can show something. What we're going to do is we're just going to do a minimum bet on this. We'll just put it on red just to see what it's going to be. So the number is black 4. Okay, so then what we'll do, if I leave and come back, it doesn't start over at the beginning of when you get to the casino. It starts at the beginning of the day. And something that's really funny about this is you'd think that it would completely reset your save data. It doesn't. Because I'm still wearing the octopus hoodie. It's still in the shop. I have the tickets for it. You can literally use this as a way to purchase every single cosmetic in the shop, or at least as many as you can. Restart the save, and then you can just buy the items and start the run. No matter what happens, if you quit out of the game and come back, you will reset at the beginning of the day with all your tickets and money that you previously earned in the run. And since it's seeded, now you have all the information you need to beat the game. Doing this helps with pretty much every floor, given that there are ways to cheese pretty much every game in some way. For the first floor, I wouldn't recommend doing this for the wheel or blackjack. While it's possible to chart when exactly you get a massive payout for the wheel, there are too many ways that you can lose more than you would ever win, and blackjack doesn't guarantee that you'll win even if you know what the cards are. Penguin game already sucks in general, so don't touch that either. It's pretty much the same story with slots. Literally the only time I touch slots is when I'm at the end of the day and I want to try to spin for a 10x, and literally every time I do that, the graph at the end of the day is depressingly straight. Your best bets would be the roulette tech I mentioned and horse races, given that these give the best payouts on the floor. It's starting to sound like I actually condone gambling. I don't, and neither does the game. I'm just exploiting a video game, I swear. This tracks with literally every single floor. If you log the info down on a notepad, then you can pretty much break the bank, or should I say, break the casino. This works with Crash, it works for the second Wheel of Fortune, it really works with High-Low. Keno, you just have to take a screenshot, and if you can memorize or record Minesweeper, then brother, the payouts are insane. Okay, so Dragon Tower is really funny because you don't necessarily need to cheese it in any way. Dragon Tower is basically a game that will either give you exponentially more money than when you came in with, or siphon your entire bank account with just its sheer existence. Forgot to start the recording earlier, but I was playing Dragon Tower. I lost 3 times in a row, put in an all-in chip, and then instantly won $1.5 quadrillion. All of this brings us to the final boss, in which we must make a choice to either flip a coin for double or nothing, which, I don't know, seems kind of unnecessary at this point, or pay off our debt and finally move on from this mess. Well, if there's one thing you guys need to know about me, it's that I always take risks. I put it on the line every single time. I live with all my mistakes, which is the easiest thing to do because I don't make any. Alright, I'll do 4. So we pay off all our debt and we can finally live happily and play Tony Hawk all day. Damn, we were only able to afford 3 cars. But Bismo guy from video games, all of this sounds like a dirty trick designed to ruin this $10 game that I play regularly and doesn't sound fun at all. And random viewer, you are right. Save scumming is definitely the most lucrative strat in the game, but you don't even have to do that to win big. Lady singular and gentlemen, the following technique I'm about to teach you is very illegal. If you do it in real life, but in the game it's fine. I introduce you to... If you roll the die at the craps table, that number will be locked in place after a buffer period of a single second. But you can hit the die with a baseball bat just before that buffer period to re-roll the die. You can use this to re-roll the second die for pretty much 30 seconds until the table automatically times out and resets to give you a ×2 reward for the first roll, a ×4 for the second, or just refund your money in general. This isn't even the only game you can break with baseball bats. You can place bats on the Plinko machine to funnel balls towards the winning cups. Now, you might think that you wouldn't have enough bats for whatever reason. After all, you only have 1 bat on each floor, plus the one that's in the lobby, and yeah, that could hinder your efforts. If it wasn't for the fact that you can stockpile baseball bats from the shop. There are a number of bats scattered in the hub area, but if you throw them in the register at the shop, nothing happens. Unless you also buy an item from the shop, in which case all of the bats will technically be considered purchases, and you can get them all from the guy at the elevator. How does this happen? No, it doesn't work with stuffies, just the bats. Like, what? There's probably other ways to break these games, but it doesn't matter. I don't need the money. You guys need to remember that there is nothing stopping you from playing this game the way it was intended. If you like to lose, the devs are aware of these quote-unquote cheating techniques, and according to this video they put out,
we noticed that players cheat in our game, and we don't care.
Yeah, this isn't being patched. That's fine. You know, power to the players and all that. And I mean, if it helps keep this video relevant forever, then that's fine by me. I want to close this video out with a direct message to the devs. Gary, if that's not your name, I don't really care, but I have something I want to say to you and your team. I want this game to succeed, and I'm glad that it has, but I also want to justify my purchase. Nearly every single one of my friends consider your game to be just another piece of the friend slot pile, and I don't know your stance on that, but I think that's total bullshit, because I think it invalidates so many games. But if you want to separate your game from the crowd, then you just need to add more content. And I'm not saying add more cosmetics or items or even more casino games. What I'm saying is that you need to add something that makes your game more replayable. In your video, you mentioned that your game is not competitive, but honestly, that sounds like a cool idea. Add a free-for-all or a 3v3 mode where teams have infinite money and compete with each other to see how much money you can make in a week. Or maybe even how much money you can lose in a week. That would be a cool idea. Add difficulty modifiers like what Peak has. Maybe introduce a security guard that patrols the floor and stops you if you try any of the cheating methods I mentioned. Maybe a skill tree or some sort of proficiency mechanic where players have improved skills at a certain game. This could add actual strategy to the game rather than every night just going, I'm gonna hit roulette, you guys do Plinko. You guys can do whatever you want. Anything I listed, someone else's ideas, I don't care, it's not my game. But I will say one last thing before I go. Lethal Company came out almost 3 years ago, and it's still fun to play today. Repo came out over a year ago, and it's still fun.
Not like this.
Peak also came out a year ago, and it's still fun. But I can't see myself playing Gamble with Your Friends in a month from now, unless there are some dramatic additions. I want this game to improve over time. And I doubt that the devs are going to see this video organically, so someone please send this to them because I don't want to join the Discord. Mostly, I just want an explanation on the baseball bat thing. That's the thing that fucked me up the most throughout this whole video. Also, chainsaw.
Polly says, they came in the night that they took my Xbox, Mom!